Welcome back to my journey exploring tiny homes around the world. Today, we'll uncover a story of thoughtful design and creative problem solving as we revisit one of my favorite cabins, a minimalist retreat nestled in a peaceful forest meadow. Originally built with just 100 square feet of floor space, its builder and owner, Todd, has now expanded the cabin with a small but valuable 50 square foot addition. Todd spends most of the year here, and his approach to life is simple and intentional. Keep things small, efficient, and low maintenance. Now, in this second episode, Todd takes us through the process of expanding that 100 square foot cabin by just 50 square feet. This small addition brings significant improvements while staying true to his minimalist philosophy. Let's listen to Todd's story on why he decided to build this micro cabin and the kind of life he was after.
When I built the original cabin, I intentionally kept it small. A larger home means more materials, more firewood, and more maintenance, none of which align with the minimalist lifestyle I wanted to achieve. Living in 100 square feet worked, but it wasn't without challenges. Daily activities like sleeping and organizing my essentials became more of a chore than a relaxing experience. For sleeping, I used a corner of the living space to place my bed on the floor. I considered building a loft, but that idea had too many drawbacks. A loft still takes up precious space for a ladder, requires higher ceilings, and makes the cabin harder to heat. Tall walls mean more materials and riskier work in construction, not to mention future maintenance when the roof inevitably leaks. Then there's the discomfort. Lofts can feel cramped, and during winter nights, climbing up and down to manage the wood stove in the cold just didn't make sense. Plus, in summer, hot air rises and accumulates in the loft, making sleeping uncomfortable. On top of that, the limited space meant I had very little storage. Clothes, dishes, grains, cooking supplies, all the essentials had to be squeezed into the living area. I had to meticulously maximize every square inch of the indoor space to be efficiently used for storage, but always needed more. The space was functional but far from comfortable to live in year-round. So, I decided to expand, but only by 50 square feet. Why just 50? Well, any larger means more wood to burn to keep the space warm in winter. A bigger cabin would undermine the efficiency I built my life around. This addition had to stay minimalist, simple, and easy to maintain.
The decision to add just 50 square feet was deliberate, a balance between improving comfort and staying true to minimalist values. But the big question remained: what to do with this new space?
I debated for a while between adding an indoor bathroom and a small bedroom. An indoor bathroom sounds nice. It's the first thing that separates wilderness survival from modern living. But dedicating 50 square feet to something I'd only use a few minutes each day felt wasteful. Instead, I chose to build a bedroom. A proper sleeping area not only uses the space more efficiently, it also frees up the living area and makes the cabin far more comfortable overall. After all, I spend about a third of my day sleeping, and having that comfort impacts the rest of my day. But this choice created a new challenge. How do I heat the bedroom efficiently? Installing a second wood stove in such a small room was impractical and also wasteful. So I had to get creative. I designed a copper tubing heat exchanger system that works with the existing wood stove in the living area. Here's how it works. I wrapped copper tubing tightly around the stove's flue pipe. As the stove burns, the flue gets hot, and the tubing captures that heat. Water circulates through the tubing, absorbing the heat and transferring it into a 20-gallon insulated water tank mounted on a shelf. The tank stores the hot water and is insulated to minimize heat loss as much as possible. From there, the heated water circulates into the bedroom through a small radiator installed on the floor. The heat rising naturally from the radiator on the floor helps circulate warm air throughout the small room, keeping it cozy through the night. A small, adjustable electric pump controls the flow of water through the system. Early in the evening, when the water is still hot, I set the pump to circulate slowly to preserve the water's heat. This keeps the heat release minimal because the wood stove is still burning. As the night gets colder and the water cools, the fire in the stove will die out and the charcoal heat will also dwindle. Then I increase the pump speed once or twice to circulate more water, as the water has cooled and the room's temperature drops further, releasing heat faster to keep the bedroom warm. It's an efficient low-cost solution that works perfectly for a small space like this.
This clever heating system really shows how Todd is able to solve problems with simple technology, using it sparingly but effectively. And that new bedroom has made the cabin so much more functional, while staying true to his philosophy of simple living and minimal resource use.
In the end, expanding the cabin by 50 square feet allowed me to solve some of the biggest issues of living in 100 square feet without creating new problems. The bedroom gives me a dedicated, comfortable sleeping area, freeing up the living space for everything else. The heating system works efficiently with the resources I already have. I'm still using the same stove in the living space, and my new bedroom needs no additional stove, avoiding fire hazards and carbon monoxide poisoning. I can let the fire go out when I am sleeping, and the bedroom door protects me from carbon monoxide poisoning in the stove area. And most importantly, I didn't need to compromise my minimalist goals by adding unnecessary complexity. It's a reminder that sometimes less really is more.
This project highlights the beauty of minimalist living, where thoughtful, intentional design replaces excess. By adding just 50 square feet, Todd was able to transform his small cabin into a functional, comfortable home while staying true to his values of simplicity and efficiency. The clever heating system and practical use of space show that with creativity, less can truly be more. I have one last question for you, Todd. What more would you be thinking to do in the future for more upgrades? You have a whole backcountry of space to use here, don't you?
Well, first, it's not all my land. I just own a piece of it here. And yes, I do have enough space to build more floor space on, but like I said, it always works better for me to stick to the minimal and less rather than more. That said, if I were allowed another 50 square feet, I'd definitely be thinking about the indoor bathroom I was debating earlier. That would make life a lot easier during cold months and bad weather. Of course, that would also require a small indoor sink vanity, if not a properly installed plumbing system. And then comes the sewage problem, and so on. I don't think it's going to happen in the near future.
Thank you, Todd. I can't wait to see what changes and improvements are in store for this cozy cabin in this lovely forest. That wraps up today's video. If you enjoyed this episode, stay tuned for more tiny home journeys around the world. Until then, remember, sometimes the smallest spaces hold the greatest ideas.